Hi, I'm Mark Posner from the Cypress College Public Information Office. Welcome to this edition of the At Cypress channel. We are joined today by Brad Pickler. Brad, a couple of things of news with the team right now. Let me start, I guess, with the personal stuff, and then we'll move to the individual, and then we'll move on to the team. Congratulations, 1,100 wins at Cypress College. That's a heck of a record, heck of a legacy. Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, I've been here a long time, had some good teams, had some good coaches, and it's pretty much, we've had good players for the last 25 years, and I think we've put them in the right spot, and we've been real successful, and teams know when they come here they're in for a contest, and it's competition is tough, and I just got to thank all the past players, because those wins wouldn't have racked up if you didn't have good players. But it's been a good run. It's been a good run.
Obviously, the things like the titles and the championships are more significant to the school, but those round numbers are nice and significant. Yeah,
people make a big deal out of numbers, and we're pretty much a numbers society, and especially when you're in sports, when you get those numbers like the 1,000, 1,100, and stuff like that, people keep bringing them up. So it's an accomplishment, and I don't want to make it seem like it's not a big deal, but you're right, the championships and the state championships and all that stuff mean a little bit more to me than the 1,100 wins.
So let's talk about some other numbers, and 11 factors in here again.
Right.
11 consecutive Orange Empire Conference championships. I'm trying to think of parallels in sports, and I'm really hard pressed to come up with parallels. What does it mean to do it 11 years in a row? I mean,
it's hard to do it. You have to be good, and you have to be a little lucky at the same time. Because we play in the toughest conference in the state. So for us to win the Orange Empire Conference 11 straight times, that's an accomplishment for our program and for our kids.
And think about the number of balls that have not bounced the wrong way. I mean, that type of thing. I mean, somewhere in there, something's bound to go wacky. So how?
Yeah,
how 11?
You're exactly right, because we've gone to the state championships 22 straight years, and that's what I told other people. In a basketball team, if you're better, you're going to win 95% of the time if you're better. But in softball, you could hit the ball at somebody, their pitcher could dominate you, your team could make errors, anything can happen. And we've just been fortunate that that hasn't happened. We've just somehow gone through it without having that one game that would not make you the conference champion or the state champion. And you have to be pretty lucky. You have to be good, but you have to be lucky also, because any day in a softball field you can hit the ball as hard as you want, but it might go right at somebody and they could catch it. And if you have a really good basketball team, you're probably going to beat them, most of the time, because you're just better physically than the other team.
So tell me, talk to me, I guess, about the track record coming into the playoffs now, the finale today, and then opening up the playoffs. But I mean, a significant track record, back to back to back.
Well,
back to back to back to back, it feels like.
Well, we've won the last 2 state championships, and this year's team is probably better than last year's team. But last year's team just played better at the end, so they were just a team that really surprised us, and we were real happy for them because they played so well. But everybody's going to be gunning for us because, they're tired of us winning all the time, and, we're going to try to three-peat this year if we can. But it's just, the places, we have the playoffs start next week, and then we go to the super regionals, and there's going to be some tough teams there, so we just want to get back there and give ourselves a chance to be the three-peat champions.
The number of state championships you've won over the years is 7 now. Right. More than any other team, if I did my counting right. What does that mean in terms of significance to the program, to the college on a greater level?
Well, it's just, it's good for our college, because people, when you talk about softball in the community college in California, our name comes up, and everybody knows that Cypress has, had 7 state championships. And, the crazy thing, we were talking about the league championships that we had 11 in a row, but the 22 straight appearances in the state finals, that's just crazy. I mean, it shouldn't happen. And it's just, we've been fortunate that it has happened, and we're trying to make this year the 23rd, but that's a goofy number. It's just because it's so hard to get there, because everything's got to go right. You have to have a good team, and then you have to play well at the end.
Talk to me about the intangibles that come along with that. Not just having the right pitcher or the right shortstop, but changing the pitcher at the right time, starting the right pitcher. I mean, all those things for that number of years in a row. How do those intangibles come together?
It's just, your team has to come together pretty much in the, if anybody had the formula where you can make your team like each other. And the teams that we've had lately have kind of liked each other, and they've, that makes it so much easier sometimes because they're all pulling for the same goal. And, making the pitching changes, the X's and O's, I think we got a handle on that. We know when a pitcher needs to be changed, and sometimes we'll mess with the lineup, or we tweak it a little bit here and there, and a different player plays somewhere. And having the players that athletically can go in different positions and being able to have a couple pitchers where you can change. Some schools only have one pitcher, so they got to live with whoever they got. And we've pretty much, had a team where we had two pitchers, and we did that last year with Mia and Monique because they just complement each other. One threw hard, one threw soft, one was left-handed, one was right-handed. So those kind of things just kind of work themselves out.
Well, kind of work themselves out. It's also about bringing the right players in.
Right.
Talk to me about that process.
Well, we decided a few years ago that we weren't just going to go after any athlete. We wanted kids that really wanted to play softball, and we're going after a better kid that just was a nicer kid, maybe. I just want to say someone that just wanted to come out and play softball, go to school, get an education, and get along with their teammates. And it seemed to have worked out pretty well because our teams have gotten along better, and we've been more successful in the last 4 or 5 years, consistently. We were good in the past, but it's worked out good. It's a fun kid to coach that wants to be here, wants to go to class.
I want to ask you about the education part, because that is not secondary to the athletics. It's not that way at this institution. It's not that way in your program.
Right.
Talk to me a little bit about that.
And we strive to do that all the time, and we tell the kids, hey, you're not going to be a professional softball player, but you're going to have to do something in school, to get a degree. And we try to talk to them how much more money they'll make with an AA, how much more money they'll have with a BS and a BA. And we want them to transfer to a 4-year school. That's the main thing. And, with our counselors' help in the office and all the support that we have here at school, it's a great school. We just keep harping on them, go to class. That's the main thing, go to class, because you're not going to be a pro softball player, but you're going to be a pro in something else. It's almost like those NCAA commercials. We go pro in other than athletics, and it's true, and especially at this level. But what we're trying to do, and I think we're doing a pretty good job, is at least moving the kids on to the next level, to the 4-year school, and then they can figure it out there when they get there what they want to do.
Right. Now, maybe that ties into just kind of the family atmosphere that's out here. Let's talk first about on this side of the road, because I see your kids' pictures up on the wall.
Right.
I've seen the dog out here and whatnot.
Right.
Family atmosphere within the team. How do you cultivate that?
And that's just come with years of being out here. And I think that we tell our new recruits that are coming in, it is more like a family atmosphere. You'll see my son and Dennis's son playing catch during the game. We have the barbecue going where the parents are running the things. Every once in a while the dog's here, even though he's not supposed to be here. But it brings the family atmosphere out, and most of the kids that come see that like that. Because it's got a kind of a homey feeling to it, and we push that. We push, we want the parents to come watch their kids play, and we push the whole family thing because I think that's part of the fun, is to watch your daughter play. And that's, when I watch my kids play, I hate missing any event that they do. And I'm sure it's the same with our kids, that their parents would love to be at every game if they could. So we try to push that atmosphere so they can come and feel comfortable when they're here.
Let me ask you about the family aspect. On the other side of the road. I mean, we hear the music coming from that field.
Right.
Now, is there a sense of something special to be on the same, academic staff, the same athletic staff as your brother?
Yeah, it is. It's fun to, we kid around and joke, and but I think we're both rooting for each other, to have successful seasons, and I think we're not competitive, it doesn't matter if he wins or I win, because he comes over and watches some of our games. I watch a few of his games, and it's just a good balance. We like having our dad who comes over and watches his games and gives him something to do, and then comes over and watches our games. But it's kind of neat to see that, because he's probably a way better coach than I am, but we've just been a little more successful for whatever reason. But he knows his X's and O's better than anybody that I've ever met. So.
Well, and he likes to talk to the umps.
He does like to talk to the umps a little bit too much, but that's his thing. I call him a right-handed Tommy Lasorda.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned your father. Does it have some meaning to you for him to be involved in the college as he is with the foundation board over the length of time?
He's always just one of those guys that have put in his time. You've known him, everybody knows him, and he's just a good guy. He's slowing down a lot. He's going to be 91 in June, but that's just the type of person he is, and I think we got our competitive spirit from him. He coached us when we were younger, and he didn't get to play a lot of ball when he was younger because he had to go to work and go to school and went to the war and did some other things, and we had the luxury of playing sports, and he was the one that instilled in us that hey, what the coach says is right. You listen to the coach. And probably that's why we became coaches, and maybe that's why we're successful, because due to my dad. Yeah.
I want to close out asking you about the playoffs, opportunities for students, employees to come out and watch the team here at home as we move forward and maybe come out to some of that atmosphere you described.
Okay. Yeah. On the 5th of May, 5th and 6th, will be the first round of regionals, and we'll host because we're going to be the number 2 seed, and we'll play a team 2 out of 3, and if we win that region, then we'll be home again on the 12th and 13th, and that'll be a 4-team double elimination tournament. And whichever team comes out of this region will end up with one other team going to the state finals, and those will both be here at Cypress. And the games are usually around 12, 2, and 4, Saturday and Sunday. So we want as many people the bigger the crowd, the better. Gives us more home field advantage. And so we'd like to see as many people as we can on the 5th and 6th of May, and on the 12th and 13th of May. And if we make it past the 12th and 13th, then the state championships are the 20th, 19th, and 20th, I think, in Bakersfield.
Yeah, beautiful field up there.
Yep, really nice field, good complex, and we like going up there. They've had it there 2 years. We've won it both years, so we want to keep that rolling.
Well, I want to wish you the best to get back there for number 3.
Perfect. I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
Okay. All right.